He has extremely high mastery in blood demon arts. He became a demon later than Akaza, yet surpassed him from behind, becoming Upper Moon 2. This episode's protagonist is Upper Moon 2, Doma. Without further ado, like and subscribe, let's get started. Doma is a very successfully crafted villain. Without emotions, extremely cruel, a typical antisocial personality, but this character not only didn't arouse audience hatred, but actually attracted many fans' love. The author gave him the same appearance as Shinobu, always smiling on the surface, looking especially gentle, especially humane, but internally completely different. Inside, hides a heart colder than an ice cellar. Doma left most audiences with the impression of an absolute pervert. However, fundamentally speaking, he's actually a pitiable creature. Congenital defects meant he couldn't like normal people, experience this world's colors. At least in Kanae and Kanao's view, this is the case. Kanae pitied Doma until her dying moment. Kanao pointed out sharply, what meaning does Doma's existence in this world have? Everything he does is just trying to know what that feeling is. Of course, Doma's defects are inseparable from his upbringing. The name Doma comes from colorful. His real name is unknown. His family was very superstitious, born with rainbow-colored eyes and platinum-white hair. His parents were possessed by the idea that their son could hear the voice of God and created a cult called the Eternal Paradise Faith. Under the slogan of peace, escape worldly troubles, observe oneself to gain liberation, using young, ignorant Doma as a faith for believers, providing refuge for people suffering in reality. But Doma is human after all. He would think about how he never heard any divine voice. His clever mind was very clear about this. So his parents' superstition was extremely foolish in Doma's eyes. The reason he cooperated was mainly because he pitied them. But the most pitiful were these adults, actually crying to a child, and complaining, then requesting he send them to paradise. Their brains must have problems. Where does paradise exist in this world? That's just a human fantasy fairy tale. A principle even a child understands. How can these people who lived decades not understand by this is too pitiful? Everyone noticed Doma was born lacking emotions. But initially when hearing believers' requests to go to paradise, Doma clearly had some emotional fluctuation. Otherwise he wouldn't shed tears. Is there this possibility? His emotional deficiency could have gradually improved. Parental love and surrounding kindness could have melted it bit by bit. Unfortunately, he was in a terrible environment from childhood. Daily, exposed to believers' negative energy, called divine child and leader, but actually a trash bin digesting negative energy. Over time, how could that trace of emotion not be drowned? Thus, an extremely twisted value system quietly formed in Doma's heart. Saving these pitiful people is my duty. I was born to help them achieve happiness. Death equals salvation. In short, his family gave Doma no positive guidance. Completely killed that possibility. How cold was Doma's heart? After witnessing his father stabbed to death by his mother for cheating with a female believer, he had no emotional response, only felt it was too dirty and smelly, should be cleaned up quickly. Doma becoming a demon was inevitable. Whether his appearance was human, his heart was already demonic. Around when Doma was 20, he met an incredible man, Kibutsuji Muzan. Doma actively requested Muzan turn him into a demon. According to the book, after he agreed, Doma was extremely moved. This isn't hard to understand. In Doma's concept, no gods or Buddhas exist. As long as you're a living being, you'll experience death. But Muzan broke this rule, living as a 1,000-year monster. How could Doma not be moved? Not only that, he worshipped Muzan as the god of the Eternal Paradise Faith. Was like a destined miracle. Unfortunately, Muzan wasn't very fond of this guy. The book mentions he's very loyal, quite worshipful of Muzan, but Muzan doesn't really like him. Based on Muzan's experience, he judged people lacking strong obsessive desires, even becoming demons. Walt evolved significantly. Even so, Doma still rose to Upper Moon 2. Seems his talents surpassed ordinary people by more than double. After becoming a demon, Doma still served as cult leader. Demons vomit if they eat food other than humans. Though this meant his former hobby of drinking couldn't continue, but his method of saving humans could finally reach optimal, that is, eating humans, making them part of his body. Happiness together, he especially loved high-nutrition female flesh. Upon encountering them, would grant maximum salvation, swallowing without leaving bones, but occasionally on a whim, or perhaps for the god he worshipped. He'd grant humans blood, making them demons. Gyutaro and Daki's siblings received Doma's gift. Later we all know, these siblings took his Upper Moon 6 position. Of course there were women Doma couldn't bear to eat. About 15 years before the main story, a young woman with her child entered Doma's world. The woman was named Kotoha Hashibira. She seemed to have suffered much at home. Doma, as cult leader, naturally took her in, though Kotoha lost one eye from being beaten blind. After treatment and recovery, that face and that sweet singing voice left a deep impression on Doma. With her company, Doma felt his mood was pleasant. This time he didn't plan to make Kotoha part of his body, but planned to keep her by his side until natural death, but different values meant this would be a tragedy. One day Kotoha witnessed Doma eating believers, so-called good deeds, which normal person could accept this. Kotoha fled. In Doma's eyes, this was also incomprehensible. Like Muzan, Doma didn't believe in karma, thinking it was something weak people imagined to comfort themselves. Unfortunately, direct karma from heaven may not exist, but human karma never misses. In the near future, 3 awakened by destroyed happiness would come for his salvation. Kotoha would awaken a beast named Inosuke. Killing Kanae would completely solidify Sister Shinobu's resolve to hunt demons. Doma first appeared in the Swordsmith Village arc's Upper Moon gathering, immediately chatting with Akaza, because he himself thought his relationship with colleagues was good. Little did he know, Akaza's impression of him wasn't just bad, but terrible to the extreme, and in Muzan's view, other demons kept their distance from Doma. The only demon with private contact with Doma was probably the one called Doma's decoration for storing heads, Hyoko. Coming to Infinity Castle, Nakime arranged very high-quality food for Doma. Shinobu Kocho opening with a greeting gift, demonstrating what correct salvation is. This battle was an incomparable contest between powerful flesh and weakness, also a clash of values. Who contrasts with Doma? Of course, Shinobu Kocho first both aim to protect happiness, and both usually smile, hiding their true selves within. Shinobu continually helps people achieve happiness, also gaining happiness in the process, while Doma is completely opposite, under the guise of helping people achieve happiness, actually continuously destroying happiness, ultimately bringing only hatred and anger. It's false, absurd happiness. From physical strength, his combat power far exceeds Shinobu, could have finished quickly, not giving Shinobu a chance, but Doma was deified by believers since childhood. Therefore, his personality is extremely arrogant. When working, he's childishly playful, always deliberately toying with enemies. Though collecting breathing technique intel is one reason, mostly he doesn't take opponents seriously. Naturally, Doma's attacks against Shinobu were casual. What waves can a shorty make? Just moving food. But Shinobu was different. She bet her life from the start. Objectively, spiritually speaking, this resolve alone could crush Doma multiple times. Why say Shinobu fought with Hashira's spirit? Because she didn't just rely on prepared poison, but resolved to show this guy, even severely injured or disabled, before being devoured, some color, let him feel the pitiful, weak human's will in his eyes is terrifying. And indeed it was. This was Doma's second heartfelt emotion after Muzan. This woman who couldn't even cut necks, in a near-death state, stood up, delivering him a fatal blow. Without healing hacks, he'd really be done. He said, crying. Amazing. You worked so hard, I'm so moved. Such a weak girl is so capable. These words prove how much shock Shinobu gave him. More moved that she gave him a wonderful experience. What Doma could do was respond with what he considered maximum salvation. Swallow her whole eternal together. This brought out Doma's third angry avenger. Kanao. If Shinobu and Doma are contrasting, then Kanao is Doma's counter. But this counter is in certain aspects. First, Doma likes eating women. Once women rage to extremes, no matter how cold, can't withstand it. Didn't the frozen lotus bodhisattva melt too? Second, Kanao's movements are extremely agile, combined with those special eyes for dodging attacks. Bind time, most suitable. Moreover, Kanao's eyes can observe micro-expressions. Doma's mask has nowhere to hide here. One line, why did you come to this world? Hitting the bullseye, striking vital points, making emotionless Doma break down. This breakdown made Doma go all out. No more playing, got serious. Accurately speaking, only serious for one round, then got extremely cocky, and used previously scorned method to show off strength. A sure win match became stealing rhythm. Can only say leopards can't change spots. Nature is hard to change. Inosuke's appearance, he didn't care about either. First removing his headgear, making him angry, then revealing his mother's death, making the boy extremely furious. 2 words, mischievous. He destroyed Inosuke's happiness most thoroughly. Birth mother Inosuke, thought mother, foster mother, all taken by Doma unintentionally. This triple gift package given to Inosuke, could he not resolve to kill Doma? The author's arrangement is interesting. Doma's opponents all carried sky-high rage, and all were Doma's favorite female characters. Though Inosuke isn't female, his appearance has feminine elements. Hard to think the author did this unintentionally. The battle reached later stages. Doma finished playing. Current situation didn't allow him to keep stalling, but he still didn't get serious. Eliminated all correct options, with the most wrong approach. Left the match to Blood Demon Art, Crystalline Divine Child, to handle, while himself played completely not fighting. This move directly cut off his retreat. Shinobu's 700 times lethal dose of poison was no joke. When poison took effect, think, if he got serious then, used ultimate Frozen Lotus Bodhisattva to respond. Wasn't it too late? Couldn't easily kill 2 kids? Kanao's Crimson Spider Lily eyes perfectly countered this move. From active to passive, then, and Kanao jointly severed his neck. Situation changed so fast, gave him a roller coaster feeling. Even beheaded couldn't accept it. Can only say this is facing those with desperate resolve. consequence of not being serious. Facts prove Doma's salvation values were wrong. Spiritually, he had no chance from the start. Though on the surface, Shinobu is gone. But her will to protect happiness saved Kanao. Even healed Kanao's childhood trauma. About Kanao being saved by Shinobu's sister. In contrast, Doma, how was his path of salvation? By Doma's concept, his act of swallowing girls should be good. If it's good, why did he suffer Shinobu's backlash? Conclusion is obvious. Before Doma went to hell, in soul form he met this girl he saved. Weak food, now holding his head in reverse. The scene full of irony yet emotionless Doma actually developed love feelings for Shinobu. Whether his supposed love is real love isn't clearly stated. The book says his thoughts were positive. As we said at the start, Doma is a tragic creature, born human but without human meaning. Love, hate, emotions, joy, anger, sorrow, happiness, even these basics were luxuries. This is also a tragedy. He talks on, saying humans are extremely pitiful creatures. The truth? The pitiful one was always himself. When pity, he thought others were pitied. This is tragic to the core. I feel this has similar essence to Akaza. Akaza said, weak worships strong. Actually, that weak one isn't Tanjiro, nor Giyu, but himself. Note, I'm speaking of weak in spiritual terms. Didn't Doma want to experience emotions? Of course he did. Whether broken down by Kanao, or deliberately pretending to have human feelings. All prove this point. His rainbow-colored eyes, more like a mental portrait's embodiment. An empty, void inner heart. Desiring to feel the world's colors. The book also mentions, often consulted by believers on various matters, like money, status, or love. He thought desires causing ruin were too foolish. But about what that feeling is, seemed very interested. But possessing money, status, and near immortal body. But unable to feel special feelings. So constantly changed partners, playing childlike love games. In short, Doma's slight heartbeat could only be felt in hell, slowly, pitiful, and lamentable. From Tamayo's perspective, we learn humans becoming demons is illness. Doma is no exception. About Doma's prototype, there's a widely circulated theory online. In this theory, divided into categories, Doma represents tuberculosis. First, his blood contains deadly poison, can destroy lungs. Moreover, Kanao's crimson spider lily eyes have side effects on eyes. In Japan's Taisho era, tuberculosis medicine had good effects on tuberculosis, while also causing eye side effects. So what do you all think? Well, the cult leader's story ends here. If you liked it, please like. Thanks for support. I'll speed up. Show my sincerity. See you in the next video.